I am now going to show you how I did this. Only of course I'll be doing it on a new one. This one is done by using modelling paste on the front and heavy carvable modelling paste on the back, and I used this Winsor Designs mini pomegranate stencil on the front. I used some tissue with a poppy and Chinese lettering stamped on it, of which I have a few more I've stamped out here in different colours. That's the one. That's the colour I did it in originally. It's quite nice. And on the back, also put some lace here into some modelling paste, and I've used some little tiny bits of scrap leftover card that I've put some special effects from Christy Friesen's Ocean Waves onto. There's some more of the tissue paper there, and on the back I've used a stencil that I made myself here, and one I bought from a local craft shop. Here is the one I made myself. You can see it's done from tomatoes. Well, a slice of tomatoes, a photograph of a slice of tomato, and then I just copied it over, and there we are. That's what I ended up with, which I was quite happy with. These are, I think, a sort of stylistic form of allium. I'm not sure though. I mean, that's somebody else's stamp again. It's one of these, I think. There we are. Joffy. That's the one I used. I'd like, this time, to use some of these, because I tried this one out on a scrap piece of card. It's turned out quite well. I quite also liked this piece here, which was another one. Oh, there it is. I have got it there. That one. And that is Diana Wakely's designs. I don't know what she's called it. It doesn't seem to have a name of any particular type. Oh, Mini Four Ferns. There we are. It has got a name. Mini Four Ferns. And that's obviously that one. Nice. I quite like that. I'd like to try some of the others out as well. And I'm probably going to use my tomato one again, because I like it. So there we are. Thing is, I would also like to do something that I've seen on a video, a YouTube video, where someone had a very, very simple stencil. All it was lots of little squares cut out like that in series, and the person put some paste on some of it and then lifted it off, and then what she had, before she lifted it off, she then got some little stamps like these postal round stamps, and stamped them into the surface. Then she lifted the stencil off. I must remember that, because I'm knowing me, I'll do it the other way around. And I'd like to do that, because by the time she'd finished with it, she should put loads of colour on it and all this stuff, and then after it dried, of course, and then she sanded it back, and in sanding it back it revealed these little tiny stamps, the little tiny effects inside the squares, and it was great. It was really great. So I might stop the video now and go away and do that. Here's the new stencil, square stencil that I made, and here's me putting heavy carvable modelling paste on in 3 places. So I've got a big broad streak down the middle. Here we go with that. Yeah. And then some little bits I'm going to put at the top corner and the bottom corner. Of course, it's upside down view. And then, once I've got it the evenness I want, more or less, although I add a bit more in the corner. Start with the round stamps, the postage stamps. They look quite good, but I forgot to put the water on, the release agent, so first one stuck, and things just got worse from then on. Even when I remembered to put the water on, it still didn't work very well. Not until the paste had been there for a while and started to dry a little bit, a very little bit. There's a fine line between it's not working, it's too wet, and oh my gosh, it's too dry. And I had such trouble with this that I started getting a bit irate with it, so I thought I'd better do a voiceover instead of letting you hear exactly what I was saying. But the best bit turned out to be this little stamp that I'd carved myself. Now that actually worked quite well, that one, but unfortunately I misaligned it and I put the dang thing so that most of the impression would not be visible when I lifted the stencil, because it was on the lines rather than the squares. So forget about that one. That's a little pastry wheel. That worked quite well, but it did get gummed up quite quickly. But as I was saying, there's another try with a round one. One or two of them work. That is the best stamp, that one. I carved that myself and that's the best one. Here's me doing the other side after that side had dried. So I'm doing it again, but this time, instead of heavy carvable texture paste, I'm using Grunge paste from Paper Artsy, because this is plaster based and the heavy carvable modelling paste is gel based, and I wanted to see whether that had any difference, because I've used the carvable modelling paste before, and I used Dylusions Inks and my own glimmer sprays I've made, and I could not sand it back. I mean, I could sand it back, but all it revealed was more colour. I wanted to sand it back to white. Hopefully this will work with this, so, because somebody said that the Grunge, Leandra from Paper Artsy said that the Grunge paste works better. It's just my attempt to try out whether it does or not. That's me using the decent stamp, the one that worked before. Again, I need to let it set up a bit more than I actually have, so it didn't work quite as well as I'd hoped. But at least there wasn't quite so much swearing on this bit. But it's too late to find out. But I could have done with a little bit more paste in the middle there, but I didn't put that much in the middle because I wanted to use other stencils afterwards. So that's me scraping away the lines so that I can see what I'm doing. I don't have that mistake with the other one, where all the lines turned up on the lines. Nah, not good. A little bit more paste here, I mean, you need it a little bit of thickness. Leandra said you need it quite thin, and unfortunately when I tried it quite thin, all that happened was the stamp lifted up most of the paste, leaving me just bare board. So that didn't really work for me. Yeah, mustn't forget to use the release agent, aka water. I think Armour All is another release agent you can use, but I haven't tried it. I've got some, I just haven't tried it. I have to keep adjusting the paste because for so long it wasn't working, so I have to keep smoothing it out and starting again. And it can get quite frustrating. That was a flower stamp. That worked okay on some of them. But again, I mean, I should have left it set up a bit more, but I'm scared, I was scared to, because things dry so quickly in this weather that pretty soon you've got nothing. You've just got some flat squares that have already dried. So I tried every single stamp I could think of, the ones with more detail, ones with less detail, ones with an enormous amount of detail, ones with hardly any detail. Leandra said the really highly detailed ones should work, but I didn't find there was a great deal of difference between them. The only one that worked fairly well was my little border carving that I made, that's right by my water bottle there, you can see it. That's the one, I picked it up. That one I found worked better than many of the others. There we go, peeled it off. Now the next thing, you can see where I've actually added other stencils to that area, and it's all dried and I'm starting painting. There we go. Really quick painting, because I painted it fairly quickly anyway, but I've speeded this up. vastly, so you don't have to sit and watch me mucking about with lots of paints, and you know how to paint. I mean, you just pick up the paint on the brush and put it on the thing. There you go. So I did here lots of greens with a little bit of purple. I used eggplant, but I've used things like Bora Bora, Inky Pool, and that's Limelight there. I quite like Limelight. There you are, you see the finished one. Now I'm knocking it back with white because I felt it was a bit too strong. But it's a lovely summery sort of greens and purples colours, my kind of colours. I liked it a lot. And there's a point at which you could easily have stopped, about, you know, a little bit after this, where I put all this white on. I've just, there we go, all that white on, and meld it in. And that's a point at which I could easily have stopped, because it almost looked to me like the mists rising from the trees just at the beginning of summer. That would have been beautiful. But that wasn't what I was planning for. I wanted more, stronger, brighter colours. You see how it's picked out that little ferny thing in the top right corner there? That's nice. And it's picking out all these tomato slices of my stencil. I liked it. I thought it was really good. It was about this stage I could easily have stopped. But I didn't. Left that to dry and then went on to do the holly coloured one. Here we are, starting with Bougainvillea, which is the pink. Banana and Tangerine Twist are the yellows. And then there's Caribbean Sea. Those are the colours I used for this. It's from the Eclectica 3 limited edition set, chosen by Lynn Brown for Paper Artsy's colours, the fresco paints. So there we are. I blend all that in, and you don't see much of the underpainting at all. But I mean, I've got one that's in the blue colours. I wanted something that was more in your face, hot summer sun sort of type feel, almost tropical. So that's what I went for. And of course I want to be able to sand it back and see what we get. So I think it worked out quite well. So this Caribbean Sea I'm painting on now. And I like to blend the Bougainvillea here. There we are, blending it with the oranges and yellows. I think that gives a lovely colour. You've got to be really quick in this weather though to be able to blend, because the acrylics are drying so fast. I mean, there's just no time. All I've got to do is leave it for 10 minutes and dang, thing's dried. Yeah, all shiny, still wet, some of it. And that's it. Then we go on to the next stage. Right, this is the last stage for this project. What I'm doing now, let's see how much we can highlight of all that texture we started out with. I think I'm going to get back to this. It's working, but I'm going to come back to it when it's no longer still slightly damp. I'm getting, yes, it's still slightly damp. I'm sorry I did this without showing you it, but it's boring watching somebody just going with a sanding block like that. But anyway, this is what I've ended up with. This is, I think that's the original front cover, but the point is that on here is Heavy Carvable Modelling Paste from Galeria. Well, that's my modelling paste, but it's the same, but I've just put the pot somewhere. It's Heavy Carvable that I actually used. And on the other side, this is Grunge paste. Now you can see that on both sides I've got the paste being sanded, capable of being sanded back with this. I mean, I've got quite a lot off there. I'll be working a bit on this side. I've got a fair bit off there. I don't think I want to go that much further. I might do a little bit here and there, maybe. But basically the rest of it I'm quite happy with it. I like it patchy. I don't like things too perfect, so patchy is fine. And that's nice, I like that. So I'm quite happy with those two. Okie doke, what I'm going to do now, of course, is find some way to seal this and then carry on playing inside.